There's a lot of investors in this league. One investor, been trying to keep quiet about, his investment in the league ever since his comments that he made about a young rookie. Pretty much, had him in the headlines for about a month and a half. That is Geno Auriemma, dog. I'm here to tell you, he's part owner of this league.
Remember when Geno ARA said Caitlin Clark couldn't cut it in the WNBA? Well, Karma's got a wicked sense of humor. Geno ARA, the self-proclaimed basketball ball guru, is watching his unrivaled investment crumble like a house of cards. Now imagine Caitlin Clark, the player he dieted holding the one card that could save it all. But she's not playing.
Like I said earlier, they actually had odds that, she was like third or fourth in the betting odds to be MVP of the WNBA. That's such a slap in the face to every WNBA player. It's unbelievable, right?
It's a classic case of you reap what USAR's criticism is coming back to haunt him in the form of plummeting ratings and a hefty financial loss. Meanwhile, Clark's busy proving him wrong with every record-breaking play in the WNBA. Talk about a plot twist.
Well, we got an update on the Unrivaled ratings for last Friday night, and well, as you can expect, they unraveled, as I like to say. Not good. I mean, we're basically at half the ratings now of the debut week.
Well, Geno is giving us a front row seat to his latest blunder. The UConn coach, riding high on his college success, thought he'd found his next golden ticket with Unrivaled. But let me tell you, this investment is turning into a disaster of epic proportions.
However, we've got an update here from one of the owners of the Unrivaled, and let's be real, this league will not make it if they don't get Caitlin Clark involved. And I think they realize that.
Let's set the scene. Auriemma, flush with confidence, decides to throw his weight and cash behind this new women's basketball league. He's thinking he's got the magic touch, that everything he touches in women's basketball turns to gold. But here's the twist. The league's entire success is banking on star power. And guess who's not playing ball? That's right, the one and only Caitlin Clark.
You guys don't remember? Asia Reese said she was also the draw. Did you guys forget about that? The hottest woman basketball player on the planet isn't involved in the Unrivaled, and weeks in, ratings are down under 100,000 viewers. So where's the lie? What am I missing?
Now, Auriemma's probably pacing in his office watching those viewership numbers like a hawk. And let me tell you, they're not just low, they're embarrassingly low. We're talking a nosedive from 300,000 viewers to barely scraping 100,000. That's like going from Madison Square Garden to your local YMCA. It's a free fall that's making everyone involved break out in a cold sweat.
So it looked like Geno Auriemma could be the reason why Caitlin Clark is definitely not joining the Unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league.
But it's not just ARA feeling the heat. The other investors are starting to sweat bullets too. This isn't just Goo's problem anymore. It's turned into a full-blown financial disaster. The league's business model, which seems so smart on paper, is now looking about as solid as a house of cards in a hurricane.
They've got to back up the Brinks truck. I mean, I know they offered her $1 million, which I think was roughly like 3 times what I think most of these players are getting. I think they've got to get much bigger. I think they got to give her $10 million to play in this thing. I know some people will laugh at that, but you've got no chance of turning a profit if you don't get Caitlin Clark involved in this league.
You've got to wonder what was going through Auriemma's mind when he signed those checks. Did he really think he could build a successful league without the star power of players like Caitlin Clark? It's like trying to make a blockbuster movie without any A-list actors. Sure, you might have a great script, but who's going to buy tickets? And speaking of Clark, her decision to turn down Unrivaled offer is looking smarter by the day. They reportedly dangled over $1 million in front of her for just an 8-week season. That's some serious cash. But Clark saw the bigger picture. She knew her value, and she knew where she wanted to make her mark in the WNBA.
You're not going to get the ratings, which in turn is not going to give you the revenue. The advertisers won't be there, right? You got to think about this.
Now, ARA's investment is starting to look risky, ear than a half-court shot at the buzzer. You can almost picture him watching Clark dominate in the WNBA, knowing that she could have been that could have bought a small island or fun-saving grace for Unrivaled. That's got to sting, especially considering how much he's criticized her in the past. But let's talk numbers for a second. How much did Geno actually sink into this venture? This is the kind of investment. You've got to wonder if Auriemma's regretting some of those comments he made about Clark. Now all that criticism, all that doubt he cast on her abilities. And now she's the one thriving while his investment crumbles. It's like watching a real-time lesson in karma play out on the basketball court.
I know some of y'all were very happy that she's not doing Unrivaled, as, you know, to stick it to the people who treated her poorly.
But here's the reality. This whole situation is exposing a fundamental flaw in how some people view women's basketball, ARA. And the other Unrivaled backers thought they could just throw money at the problem and create a successful league overnight. They underestimated the importance of having actual stars in the league, and they overestimated their own ability to attract top talent.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest, we can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero, zip, nothing.
Remember, when everyone thought Caitlin Clark was about to cash in big time with Unrivaled plot twist, she said no. And let me tell you, it's not just about the money. There's a whole backstory here that Geno Auriemma and his investor buddies never saw coming.
Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.
So picture this Unrivaled comes at Clark with a deal that would make most of us quit our day jobs on the spot. We're talking 7 figures for just a few weeks of play. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But Clark's not having it, and trust me, there's way more to this story than just a fat paycheck. Let's rewind it a bit. You know how Geno Auriemma couldn't seem to keep Clark's name out of his mouth? Yeah, those comments didn't exactly age like fine wine. In fact, they've turned into some pretty sour grapes for old Geno.
The delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's 3rd or 4th in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning.
Auriemma once claimed Clark wasn't built for the physicality of pro ball. Fast forward to her rookie season, and Clark's not just surviving, she's thriving. We're talking in 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not just good, that's historic. Now put yourself in Clark's shoes for a second. You've just wrapped up a college career for the ages. You're tearing it up in the WNBA, and suddenly the guy who doubted you wants you to save his new league. Talk about awkward.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
But it's not just about proving Auriemma wrong, though. Let's be honest, that probably feels pretty good. Clark's got a packed schedule that would make most of us need a nap just looking at it. She's coming off a deep NCAA tournament run. She just finished a historic WNBA freshman season. And she's juggling endorsements and speaking events left and right. Oh, and let's not forget, she's human. She needs rest.
She has decided not to do Unrivaled, even though Aaliyah Boston's doing it, Lexi Hull is doing it, Kate Martin is doing it, and despite all the rumors, and I'm sure the push that was put on her. But Clark has all the leverage in this situation, and I'm not saying she flexed it, but she was comfortable enough in her position to make the decision, and it appears that answer is no.
You know what they say about burning the candle at both ends? Right, well, Clark's not about to set her whole career on fire just to make Auriemma's investment look good. Sources close to Clark are saying she needs a break after her demanding schedule. And honestly, can you blame her? But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about rest and recovery. There's this whole respect thing that's been brewing after being underestimated for so long. Why would Clark help the very people who doubted her? It's like if your high school bully asked you to help them win the lottery. Not exactly top of your to-do list is. Experts are saying Clark's decision could have some serious long-term implications for her career. Clark's busy writing her own legacy. She's proving that sometimes the best move is the one you don't make. And in this case, saying no to Unrivaled might just be the smartest play of her career. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications.